3 months ago, my father kicked me and my 8-year-old daughter out of Christmas dinner. Not privately, not quietly, in front of 15 relatives, while my daughter was still holding her napkin, waiting for grace. And what my mother said next. That's the moment I realized. This wasn't about family anymore. But before I tell you what I did next, because it changed everything, you need to understand how we got here. It started 18 months earlier. The call came at 3:47 p.m. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Mrs. Outton, your husband has been in an accident. You need to come immediately. By the time I reached the hospital, it was already over. 9 years of marriage. Gone in a sentence. The funeral was packed. Family everywhere. Support, sympathy, hugs. But grief has a way of revealing what people really think. Because later that day, I heard something I was never supposed to hear. Through a half-open door, my sister whispered, "She can't raise Lily alone, maybe someone else should take the child." And my mother, she didn't defend me. She agreed. That was the first crack. Then came the insurance payout. $2.3 million. And suddenly, the same people who doubted me started calling me every week, checking on me, inviting me to dinner, acting like they cared. But it wasn't grief bringing them closer. It was money. White right pointing backhand index, and the moment I realized what they really wanted, everything changed. At first, it was subtle. Concern. Advice. "We're just worried about you." Then one night at dinner, it became something else. My father cleared his throat and said, "You should let your sister manage your money. Not help. Control." My sister smiled like it was already decided. "Just sign a few papers," she said. "Power of attorney. I'll handle everything." Something in my chest tightened. Because my husband had warned me about this. Never hand control of your money to family. So I said the one word they weren't expecting. No. That's when the tone changed. The sweetness disappeared. The pressure began. Calls. Messages. Guilt. "Your father's struggling. The family needs help. You're being selfish." Then my daughter came home crying. My 8-year-old, shaking. "Grandma said she wishes Dad was alive instead of you, because he knew how to take care of me." That's when something inside me broke. Not sadness. Clarity. That same night, I discovered something worse. My sister had been telling the entire family that I was gambling away the money, destroying my reputation, while trying to take everything I had. That's when I made the call. A number my grandmother had given me weeks before. And what I found out next wasn't just betrayal. It was a plan. White right pointing backhand index, and they had been planning it since the week my husband died. When I met Marcus, the lawyer my grandmother trusted, everything made sense. My sister had already contacted my insurance company, asked how to transfer control. My father's business. Not struggling, collapsing. And my sister. Drowning in debt. They didn't want to help me. They wanted to take everything. And they had a plan. Build pressure. Spread lies. Break me emotionally. Then trap me in front of the entire family. So I'd feel too small to say no. Christmas dinner. That was the final step. And they were right about one thing. They would have an audience. What they didn't expect was that I wouldn't come alone. The day before Christmas, my grandmother handed me a sealed envelope. "Open it when the moment comes," she said. Her eyes told me everything. She knew. Christmas night arrived. The house was perfect. Lights, decorations, laughter. But underneath it, something rotten. Halfway through dinner, my sister stood up, made a speech, told everyone I was irresponsible, that I needed supervision, that I should sign control over, for my daughter's future. Then she looked at me. "Will you accept your family's help?" 15 people watching, waiting, expecting me to break. I stood up and said one word. "No." That's when my father pointed at the door. "Leave. Right now." And my mother added, "Christmas is better without you." My daughter started crying. And for a moment, I almost walked out. But then I remembered the envelope. And I realized, this wasn't the end of their plan. It was the beginning of mine. White right pointing backhand index, because 5 minutes later, everything they built started collapsing. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I just pulled out my phone and made one call. Come now. Bring everything. 5 minutes later, the doorbell rang. And that's when their control ended. A lawyer walked into that dining room. Calm. Prepared. And carrying the truth. What he revealed next silenced the entire room. Emails. Dozens of them. Between my mother and my sister. Dated just 2 weeks after my husband's funeral. They called me weak. Said I'd cave under pressure. Planned to isolate me, lie about me, and take control of everything. They even named it Operation Andrea. The room turned. People who had believed them started seeing the truth. Then came the final blow. My grandmother's will. The house. The inheritance. Everything they were counting on was left to me, not them. And just like that, the same people who threw me out were suddenly begging me to stay. Crying. Apologizing. Pleading. But it was too late. Because I finally understood something. They didn't want me. They wanted what I had. So I took my daughter's hand, looked at them one last time, and walked away. Not broken. Not defeated. Free. White right pointing backhand index. And here's the real question. If you were in my place, would you forgive them or never look back?